Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. How are you? Well, this is Gary Richard Collins II, and, and opportunity to say this is the first week of daylight savings time, the return of daylight savings time, and I understand we have lost 1 hour sleep because we had to set our clocks forward when we're going to get plenty of daylight all throughout the remainder of the year up until November. And it is 64 degrees outside. So please don't worry. Put away all of your winter things. And you can wear your shirts or you can wear pants, your sweatshirt, everything, and be able to take a nice walk. Or if you have kids, take them to the playground. But enough said, I want to get on to the series of messages, okay, entitled Duplicating Yourself. And it goes something like this. Now, I think it's very important as leaders that we recognize the importance of duplicating ourselves. Simple as that. Now, if you notice in Matthew 4, when Jesus returned from the wilderness after being tempted, that was where he began his ministry. 8 verses into Jesus's ministry, he says to Peter and Andrew, "Follow me." And as I go way down here, it will indicate something of a very serious subject, stating Jesus duplicated himself within his disciples and then commanded the disciples to go and do the same thing. That's what the story of duplication is all about. It means you're doing the same thing of what others are doing, which is synonymous for repetition. Move on. The degree to which we effectively duplicate ourselves will greatly determine how confidently we can step away and know that the vision will continue on in our absence. Now, can you step away and know that the mission and message and vision are going to go forward, especially if you are not there? The answer is no. Then we may have not effectively duplicated ourselves. And we have absolutely fallen into the trap of trying to do everything on our own. However, that's not the way Jesus has designed it. All right? It's when we try to do everything on our own that we get in trouble. Therefore, we want to face the potential of burning out, and we also become the lid of our ministry. We can actually become the reason that our ministry does not branch out the same way Bethesda had branched out. That was my first church. Or the way 242 had branched out, where it started off in Brighton, Michigan, and it's branching out everywhere. Or Radiant Church, where it started it off in Kalamazoo, Michigan, and it branched out right at the beginning at Cinemark Theater in Ypsilanti before they purchased 242's building way out there in Ann Arbor, Michigan, located not too far from 242 Church. All right? Now, we must be willing to duplicate ourselves and share the load. And I think we see a great example of this is in Exodus 16. Exodus 18 is all about. All right? If you have your Bible or your Bible app, please turn in the verses that I have already given you. And we have a few more in verse 21 of that, and in verse 21 of that chapter, but select capable men from all the people, men who fear God, trustworthy men who hate dishonest gain, and appoint them as officials over thousands, hundreds, fifties, and tens. And finally, in other words, duplicate yourself. Have them serve as judges for the people at all cost, but have them bring every difficult case to you. The simple cases they can decide themselves. That will make your load lighter because they will share it with you, of course. Now, in Exodus 18:23, Jethro told Moses, if you do this and God so commands, you will be able to stand the strain, and all these people will go home satisfied. Asking this question, is the weight of your group and your responsibility starting to feel like it's too much for you to carry? Well, if we duplicate ourselves, and consider duplicating yourself. You find capable men and women you can pour yourself into. Then raise up your co-leaders. Duplicate yourself. What I have learned from the series of messages, believe it or not, is really, we do not, it's very, very, very essential for all of us to try to be more careful. I mean, we've got to be more careful to the point where we try to not duplicate everybody else for that particular reason, or if you are trying to do the same thing that Norbert and I both do. My best friend really is, and that's who my best friend is. It is Norbert Rodriguez. Yes, he runs a church with his wife at one of the places I have already brought up. Yes, but what Norbert does do of what I don't do is that he would go to Five Guys, obviously. That's because obviously he likes to do, he and his wife just likes to go out and buy something, whatever he pleases. I used to do that myself in a way Pastor Norbert would have, but unfortunately, I do not. So the answer is no. I really do not go to Five Guys is because all the food out there is absolutely expensive. I go to Culver's, Shake Shack, and sometimes Savvy Sliders, but not with Five Guys, not anymore because of the prices that have gone sky high, really. And another thing, I try not to duplicate myself with another person is obviously with Pamela Stevens, who happens to be my mentor and a very good friend of mine. Although some may think I would ever turn my back on Pam Stevens, or if I had ever decked out on Pam Stevens. And again, the answer is no. I would never, ever do any of those disgraceful things that some of Pam's people would do, just a few. And like I always said on many occasions, if you approach Pamela, whenever you go out into the community, or whenever you go out shopping, or whenever you go out to eat, or sometimes when you go on vacation, or even more so when you go out to the park, she will eventually block you and would want your immediate attention. The same way I have been blocked by her before, and I got the most attention out of her, seeing I am her most favorite person of all. And for being the most favorable person of all, I earned the respect of trying to stay close to her for the following 36 years. This is my 40th year knowing her. And I hope you have a blessed day. And please, just be yourself, nobody else. And don't try to duplicate each other the same way I duplicated Norbert. Bye bye now.